Hello, Bucs fans. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Buccaneers 2025 schedule. It has been released, as you see there on the screen. And Mark, I mean, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when looking at the schedule?
My first thing to me, game one. I mean,
Yeah,
you're away against the Falcons, week one. You have a division game against a team that you lost twice to last year in terrible fashions. I think Todd Bowles, as of late, has done well in his week ones.
yeah,
He's
yep.
gonna be pissed off. He's gonna want to showcase this. It's just the first four games is a big, good deciding factor of where you're at to me. The biggest
Mhm.
one, though, you need to win week one, and then the Texans week two, and it's a damn nationally televised game. Do they choke? Are they doing that still from last year?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun those first four. The Jets you assume is going to be a win, and then the Eagles again week four. Like it's almost a measuring stick. Like where are we at? Are we going to be a competitive team and show it off in the first 4 weeks, or are we going to be like middle of the pack where like last year we beat the Lions right convincing in week two, we're 2-0, great, and then falter off losing to the Broncos in a horrible fashion at home,
Yeah.
and then eventually win against the Eagles. But I don't know. Let's see how consistent they can be. Overall, a lot of winnable games, and I know you have a lot to say about the division games this year as well.
Yeah, division games, I mean, these are I when I look at it, you see the I think it's the last what is that? Last four of or no, four of the last five games are division games. So you look at the Saints, Falcons, then Panthers, and then Panthers again. That's going to be a huge stretch. And I think when you get past the Rams game, those last, what is that? Yeah, last six games, those are all very winnable games. And you have a very good opportunity to finish the season strong and get into the playoffs, obviously. And but like you said, week one, that's a good test right there. I think that's a good game for the Buccaneers because they're going to have that taste in their mouth of getting back at the Falcons and obviously setting the tone for the season. So that's going to be a good opener to begin with. But yeah, really, the Bucs shouldn't lose any division games. Like that's a big thing for me. Like it should be 6-0 in this division. I think the Buccaneers are clearly the better team, especially with what they've added in the depth areas of the secondary, and then obviously adding a piece like a Mecca Buka, very important. Like you shouldn't lose against this division. I think we're a step above. We'll see what the Falcons do, but coming back with basically a rookie quarterback in Michael Penix, that's I mean, does he take that leap or does he regress? A lot of teams have film on him now, so that is going to be interesting to see what happens there. Defensively, they made some improvements. They got some players in the draft. We'll see what happens with that. And then the Saints and the Panthers. I think the Panthers are above the Saints when you look at overall team.
Yeah.
Saints are probably going to be the one of the worst teams in the league, especially with the Derek Carr situation and him retiring and basically having a rookie quarterback. It's going to be tough for them. So yeah, those are my main takeaways. Like we should be able to win the division. I think the second half of the season sets up well for you. One of the tough stretches that we do have is starting, I think, in from week 4 to basically week 12. I think you face some tough, like there's a tough stretch there, especially with the Eagles. Then you have to go out west to Seattle, then come back to San Francisco and then face Detroit. So that's a tough little stretch right there. And then obviously the Buffalo and the Rams stretch back to back weeks on the road. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Looking at where's a stretch where we have to look at it because of
yeah,
Todd Bowles' history. There's going to be an area where he says good teams don't lose 2 games in a row, right? We've lost more than 2 games in a row multiple times now during
yeah,
his coaching tenure. So, what stretch would that be? Like you just said, is it going to be that Eagles, Seahawks, 49ers, and Lions span where that's a tough 4 game stretch? That's why like that's those first four, and you need to really iron it down and see where you're at because it's not going to get easier. Besides the end of the season, how it almost sums it up how it always is for the Bucks. End of the year they get hot,
mhm,
but the middle of the year, they just blow it. What do you know? It sets up that way again. But like you said, like that middle stretch right there, or is it that Buffalo, LA?
Mhm.
'Cause that's 2 really tough, great quarterbacked teams,
Yeah.
as opposed to me, like, looking at the Eagles, Seattle, San Francisco, Lions. Yes, those are very good coached teams, very
Mhm.
competitive teams, but
Right.
caliber of quarterback compared to Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford, you're one's
Yeah.
here, one's here. That
Yeah, yeah,
so,
for sure,
to
for sure.
me, those stretches are gonna be the most competitive, but you gotta see how we measure up in those first 4. I think that's gonna be telling.
Yeah, for sure. I think again, it's like, can this team avoid the devastating injuries that we went through last year? That's going to be important. It's a week to week league, so I think that's where you can't really tell exactly how these weeks are going to shape up because again, one week you could be without a certain player, or the other team could be without certain guys
Yeah,
that could help you in that said game. So that's what makes it great. And again, we're going to have plenty of time to analyze it as we go through. But just looking at the primetime games as well, we have two Monday night football games, one Sunday night, and then obviously a Thursday night football game. So that's four primetime games. And when looking at that, the Buccaneers were 0-5 last year in primetime games. So plus the playoff game. So I guess that's 0-6.
mm,
That is something that you want to see them be better at. And I think that, that week two game, like that's going to tell a lot. Can they finally get over that hump and put together a much better performance in prime time and find ways to win? So that's another one. On the positives, there is a week 9 bye, which I think is
yeah,
great. That's right in the middle of the season, basically splits it up where you have, let's see, yeah. So it basically be two let's see, you got one, two, three, yeah, eight, and then nine in the back half. So yeah, I think that's really good for the team overall. And hopefully you can stay healthy, mainly be healthy going into that back stretch because there's a lot more importance on that final half, especially with all the division games
yeah.
in play. So yeah, it should set us up pretty well. Overall, I think it's a very winnable schedule. It's just going to come down to can we stay healthy? And I think with the moves that we made, we set ourselves up for potential of injuries that most likely will happen. So you just hope they can find their way in that early portion of the season and then, kick it into gear in that second half.
Yeah, and don't get overconfident like they did against the Broncos last year. But
Yeah.
also talking about injuries, we beat the Eagles last year without AJ Brown. So
Right.
that was being a beneficiary of their injuries, and it was at home.
Yep.
I was looking at the nationally televised games. I think only one of them is at home. So
Yep.
let's see.
Correct.
Let's see if we actually do better on the road, I guess. But yeah, I feel like sometimes when the Bucs play at home, they're a little bit too overconfident based off that Broncos game, which was a slaughter last
Yeah.
year. But I do love that bye week being in the middle so they can regroup. Even like diagnosing Grizzard's offense for the first half, like he can actually regroup and be like, okay, so what am I doing compared to what Cohen was doing? And all the
Mhm.
coaches can get together and be like, okay, well, this is probably something that we changed last year. Maybe
Yeah.
we should do that again. So I think that's perfect in all fashions. So yeah, it's gonna be competitive, but let's see. When there's
Mhm.
winnable games, just win the damn game. Stop
Yeah.
stop punching yourself in the gut or shooting yourself in the foot, however you wanna say it. You gotta take advantage of games that are winnable, because there's gonna be times where we're overstacked and other teams are hurt too. So you gotta be able to take advantage of those mindset. Can't
Mhm.
gotta have the same mindset to win every game, not just you said it best. It's a week to week league.
Yeah.
Whoever's in front of you is who you gotta beat.
Yeah, I mean, that's yeah, perfectly said. I think in a perfect case scenario, like looking at it, like let's say the Buccaneers start 2-0, like they have had in like the past couple of years, they go into that week 3 game against the Jets. That's a game you should just completely dominate. Like it should be a bloodbath right away. Like um and that will be a telling sign because that is something they've talked about this offseason, developing that killer instinct. Let's see if they have that going into that home opener because if that's a game where it's like 16-13, I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are the Jets in this? If Justin Fields is running all over the place and making things happen, then yeah, this team could have more issues down the road. But again, we'll see how it plays out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts of the Buccaneers schedule. And with that said, until the next one.